Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Friday, 3rd October 2025. Welcome to another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. I hope you all had a very good weekend. Not sorry, not a weekend, actually, a very good holiday. Yesterday was the end of Dasara, and now we look forward to Deepavali, which is there 3 weeks from now. So yes, on Friday we had this RBI policy, and in my Friday's pre-market commentary, I had mentioned that I am putting a lot of hopes on RBI policy to reinvigorate the market, and RBI did it and much more. In fact, it was a pleasant surprise to all of us that RBI came up with actually something like a long-term vision, which we have not seen in an RBI policy till now. At least I can't remember when was a vision of this magnitude articulated. So it was, I would say, something like a big bang reforms in line with what the Prime Minister vision is, which is reform and reform and reform and make ease of doing business a reality, which we had it through your GST some time ago, and now RBI has come up with this. I think Finance Ministry is now next due to help out the exporters who are affected by tariffs. So while there was some talk of whether there'll be a rate cut or not, I was expecting that there may be a rate cut, but it did not happen. But that did not dampen the enthusiasm or sentiments, because what came out of the RBI policy was really, I would say, historic. Now they kept the rates unchanged, but they revised their GDP upwards from 6.5 to 6.8. Inflation, they said, will come down. Economic outlook, they said, is buffeted by good monsoon. All these were positives. So people would ask, why did they not reduce interest rates? But I think they would have a logic to that, because if they reduce interest rates, then rupee will further weaken. At this point of time, probably it is not a good time to weaken the rupee. So I think rate cut will come probably in the December policy or following, but the path is towards easing of doing business. One. Second is to keep enough liquidity in the system, which will come through the CRR every quarter, every fortnight. More and more money is going to come into the system. So going into the busy season, which is from October to March, you will have plenty of liquidity in the market for banks not to worry too much. So there are so many good things came. They mentioned as far as macro indicators are concerned, and the ease of doing business. They went by 7 measures were there, which 9,000 circulars were consolidated into 7 broad, focus areas. They have modified the FEMA. They have tried to internationalize the rupee for trade with select neighboring countries. The Basel III norms, they have pushed it to April 2027. And then proposed risk-based deposit insurance premiums are there. They have a loan against shares from 20 lakhs. They have pushed it to 1 crore as the limit. Then, even exposure to corporates, they have modified it to make it more easy for banks to now even look at funding this takeovers, which was not there, which was frowned upon in the past. Of course, treasury yields hardened because they would expected some rate cut. Then, so what does the broking community think about it? They think that about 22, of the 22 announcements which were made, 9 were directly impacting banks and NBFCs. The broking community, the foreign broking community, thinks that big private banks will benefit. Mid-size and government banks may see mixed impact, because you see now there will be tussle, for instance, small things like loan against shares. There'll also be tussle about funding takeovers. The bigger, the better. The State Bank of India may benefit among PSU banks, but by and large, HDFC, ICICI, and aggressive banks like Kotak may benefit from what RBI has done. Overall, I think it has been fantastic. That reflected in the market. The market took off, and how, in fact, it closed. Nifty closed above 24,800, close to 25,000, and we may see 25,000 in the next couple of days. I suspect today is the final day of the week. Maybe by Monday we should see that. So Nifty rose 1%. Then it also, you have to remember, I had mentioned that we had eight down days and nine red candle days. So there is a ripe for a bounce, and a significant bounce. So first level is short covering, and also there was a 94% short position. So that is eased off. So things are only looking better. First day of the settlement, if it is good, generally the settlement is good. Now there no rule, but or no guarantee, but we have observed that first day of the settlement, you can keep the first day of the settlement low as the low for the entire month. If it starts trading below that, then one has to be very, very concerned. So mid cap and small caps gained 1% each. India VIX fell, which is good sign. And pharma went up. Piramal Pharma did very well. And weekly realty gained. I mean, everything gained, actually. Virtually everything gained, excepting PSU banks, which came down slightly. Advance decline was very good, 2.5 advances to one decline. So that was the scenario at the end of the day. However, FIs continue to sell at 1600 crores. DIs bought close to 3000 crores. So net investment by institutions is positive at 1400 crores. So what are the supports and resistance we look at today? 24,650, 24,700 is the support. Now the supports have gone up technically, and resistance, of course, is 25,000 and 25,100. Nifty Bank support will be 55,100, and resistance will be about 55,500 and 55,600. At one part of time, Nifty futures was going close to four-figure gain. Finally, there was some correction. Now, over the last 2 days, US markets did well. European markets did well. Yesterday, specifically, European markets, especially DAX and the CAC, really took off more than 1%. So they're doing very well. Dow Jones was volatile. NASDAQ also was volatile, but they were in the positive. And today also the futures are looking positive. Now, interesting thing about commodities is oil has now come down below 65. Now it is 64 quarter. So it may reach even 60 or even below 60, because that is what the US administration wants. Gold and silver had a volatile week, a volatile day last 2 days, because China is closed till 8th of October. So while China's enjoying their festivities, the speculators in gold and silver will play havoc. But every decline, in my opinion, is a buy. We have, as I said, about what more than 50% of our portfolio is sitting in precious metals. GST collections came in, they were better, 9% better than year on year comparison. However, but now onwards, we have to check out, because after September 22nd, the GST framework has been changed. So, what are the stocks which we need to watch today? Sammaan Capital, which we own. Now, the Abu Dhabi buyer has come, so they will be buying close to about 8,850 crores at 139 rupees. So, significant discount to the market price of Friday, which was around 166 to 169. So on declines, I would still want to buy Sammaan Capital. VMart reported very good revenue, 22% growth year on year. So that should be the positive zone. Utkarsh, small finance bank, they're planning to raise some money, 950 crores via a rights issue. So that should be positive. Hyundai starts a PV production at Alegaon plant, so that should be positive. Then we have Vari Energies, which has come now with a 8,000 crore capex, so that should do well. PC Jeweler, which we used to own at one point of time, completely bombed out stock, has given a good kind of results. 63% increase in the revenue, and they have reduced their debt, which is very good for PC Jewelers. Ashoka Buildcon is another company which is underpriced, I feel, but we used to hold it, but now we have sold it, because it is in a sector which is a tricky sector, road building. They got a big order, and sorry, they bought into Viva Highways for about 166 crores. So maybe there may be volatility in that script, but I mean, tempted. Generally, I would have been tempted to buy it, but because I've taken a very conservative stance in the market, we are just avoiding it. And Hexaware Tech has been sued by a company called Natsoft for about $500 million. And Coal India September production has dropped by 4%, probably because of monsoons. So these two stocks could be in the negative column. So we are going positive, as we did on Wednesday. and it paid off well because we were aggressively positive on intraday as far as our long term and even swing trading. We are more into metals as we speak, and LNT. LNT is one more thing which we added to our kitty on Wednesday because they had been hammered in the morning, and when we saw strength, we bought into LNT. We believe LNT is India's story, whichever way, and with ease of doing business, companies like LNT will get in more and more India specific projects. So I think for our analysis, for our way of doing investment, LNT seems to be a very sound bet, especially in these markets which are very volatile and which are very dull. So whatever you do, I hope it is successful. We go into the day positive. Thank you for joining me.